It's the 2020 version of Hell in a Cell. We are live, man. This show was the tale of two cities. On one side, you had all three Hell in a Cell matches. On the other side, WWE had no idea what they wanted to do for this show. So outside the Hell in a Cell matches, there was really nothing of importance on this show. You got half of a pay-per-view and half of a Monday Night Raw. So whichever way you're looking at it, man, you either loved it or hated it. Or like me, fell in between. We are going to go over everything that happened on tonight's show. Sasha Banks is the new SmackDown Women's Champion. Randy Orton is the new WWE Champion. Heavy Machinery is no more. Retribution are a bunch of losers. And I think my new favorite wrestler in WWE is Roman Reigns, man. And who would have thought JD in 2020 would tell all of you that? We are 1,000 deep already, and I haven't said a word. Why? Because we're the #1 podcast in the entire IWC. This is your Hell in a Cell post show right here on Off the Script. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. I am JD from New York, and this is your Hell in a Cell 2020 post show. Man, you guys know how I feel about Hell in a Cell. I say it every single year. I said it on the build leading up to the show. I don't feel Hell in a Cell is necessary at all anymore. And I really do feel like it is time to not retire the structure itself. I think obviously it would definitely be something I would like to see still WWE bring to the limelight, to the spotlight of importance in a feud. Have it be per se that final stage in said feud. But I do think that the structure needs to go away as far as promoting it as its own pay-per-view in the month of October. And WWE does it for silly reasons. WWE thinks that, oh my God, it's Hell in a Cell. It's October. It's Halloween. Right? And the scary and the devilish and the dastardly things that happen inside Hell in a Cell are synonymous with what Halloween is to October. It's all very silly. It really is all very silly. Hell in a Cell needs to go away, man. You see, I would actually bring back Halloween Havoc, but WWE, Vince McMahon, will never use a entity like Halloween Havoc on the main roster and integrate that into his programming on the main roster because it's something that he did not create. Even though he bought the rights to it when he bought WCW, he won't use it because he didn't create it. So he lets Triple H do it instead for NXT, and that is used as a vehicle to counter-program AEW, which is not really a good look for NXT anyway. Because no matter what they do, they don't beat AEW on Wednesday nights, regardless of what's on the show or what gimmick they're bringing back from the past. I think it needs to go away. I think the value of the Hell in a Cell has diminished year over year. The spots that WWE do inside the structure, or in this case, like you see in the main event tonight with Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre, how many of you, I want to see one in the chat. I want to see one in the chat, man. This is your first action of interactivity here on the podcast tonight. Give me a one in the chat if you were sitting there when Drew McIntyre fell off the side of the cage and went through the announce table tonight at the end of that match. One in the chat if you just did not feel anything when that spot happened. Now, we're going to talk about it, obviously, when we talk about the match, but it's situations like that that don't have any more wow factor to it. We've seen that spot 1,000 fucking times, and the more that you do it every single year, it loses its wow factor. I didn't really feel anything towards that. That was the original spot that Shawn Michaels did in the first ever Hell in a Cell. What makes you think that Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton doing it is going to recapture that moment? It's not. It's not. I think it needs to go away. Now, there was only one match on this show that really deserved Hell in a Cell, and that was Sasha Banks and Bayley. But we got 3 Hell in a Cell matches on this show tonight. And I do feel when WWE does that, I feel like when you have 3 Hell in a Cell matches on a single night, my God, man, the appeal and the importance of the cell structure, even at that point, is further diminished. It is not something I want to see. I wish WWE would change going into the future, really. But as far as the show tonight, it wasn't a thumbs down show. It wasn't a thumbs down show. Was it a show that I would urge you guys to go out there and watch in full if you did not watch it tonight? No. This show was a missable show. The Roman Reigns and Jey Uso match was absolutely fucking fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I don't think it needed the Hell in a Cell. I don't know why they just didn't do an I Quit match, but WWE gave us the Hell in a Cell between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, and I thought it was absolutely fucking great. Sasha Banks and Bayley, they absolutely killed it inside Hell in a Cell. I don't know. Some people were telling me that it was better than their match in Brooklyn. Negative. The sequel, more times than not, most of the time, is not better than the original. So this was not a match that rivaled their Brooklyn match at TakeOver 5 years ago. I wouldn't even put this above the Sasha Banks Becky Lynch match last year at Hell in a Cell. I thought last year's Hell in a Cell match with Becky and Sasha was better than what we've seen with Bayley tonight. But the story, the one thing that match did not have was the story between Sasha and Bayley and what they've done all through the summer for WWE, winning the tag team titles, just coming apart at the seams, Asuka being involved and her being put over in the process. There was more substance to whatever this Hell in a Cell match offered tonight. But as far as a match goes, I honestly think whatever Sasha and Becky did last year was better than what Sasha and Bayley did this year. Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. There was a ton of back and forth going on. Is Drew McIntyre going to win the WWE Championship match tonight against Randy Orton? Is WWE planning to do Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns? If you guys did not know, Triple H had come out and stated that Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns could potentially be just as big as The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin when they had their epic feuds. I don't think that would ever reach that type of height, but obviously he's a great businessman. He's shilling himself and the product to get whatever interest on Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns leading into Survivor Series. I did not think that was the right way to go about it, simply because Randy Orton could not afford to lose another pay-per-view match. You've already taken Randy Orton and had him lose to Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. You had him lose in 8 minutes to Keith Lee. And if Keith Lee was being booked in a better way on Monday night, I wouldn't really have a problem with it. But you've given Keith Lee a win over Randy Orton, a dominant win over Randy Orton, and you did nothing with it. So Randy Orton lost to Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. He lost to Keith Lee at Payback. He lost to Drew McIntyre again at Clash of Champions, and then undeservedly so, got a title match tonight. You thought Randy Orton was going to lose 4 pay-per-views in a row and not win the WWE title tonight? So no matter what Triple H said about Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns at Survivor Series, that was not the right match to do just based off the losses that Randy Orton had accumulated in the last several months. So now we're looking at Randy Orton as the WWE champion, and now we are looking at Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns at the Survivor Series. That is, if WWE does the Monday Night Raw versus SmackDown feud going into the Survivor Series like they've done in previous years. But it was the right decision to make, simply because Randy Orton could not afford to lose another match. Now, I'm not the biggest Randy Orton fan. I thought he's done great work. He did great work with Edge. The heel work that he's done has been really good. And now we may be looking at Randy Orton defending the WWE title against Edge at WrestleMania, which I predicted months ago, well before SummerSlam. And now it's coming to WrestleMania in 2021, more than likely. Randy Orton versus Edge will be your WWE Championship match going into WrestleMania. Now, whether you like it or not, that's just the way it's going to be. Some people don't want it for the WWE title. But that's what WWE has decided upon, and they have nobody to blame but themselves because of their shitty booking in the last 3 months with Randy Orton. So that's what you're going to get. We're going to go over that, as well as Otis dropping the Money in the Bank briefcase to The Miz. Now, the Money in the Bank briefcase has been a complete mockery of the entire concept this year. It sucks. Otis should have never won that match. He won it in a way that is mockery in itself. The way he won that briefcase is complete mockery. He didn't even climb the ladder to retrieve the briefcase. It just fell into his hands. Just based off that, he didn't deserve it. And then WWE did nothing with the briefcase, nothing with the concept, nothing to enhance Otis as a character. He stayed the same. He didn't go from fun-loving tag team and heavy machinery Otis, I'm fat, I'm silly, I'm jovial. Otis, stakes and weights, Tucker! No. There was no growth from Otis whatsoever. And WWE did nothing but book themselves in situations to take that briefcase off of Otis. That was the only thing on their mind. How do we get this fucking thing off this fucking guy? And that's all they did following him winning that briefcase. And we get to tonight, after Law and Otis on Friday, and we got the briefcase on the line. More mockery. Briefcase is lost now. It's now in the hands of The Miz. Otis and Tucker are now no more. WWE doubled down on heavy machinery not coming back as Tucker turned, for whatever reason, on Otis. And now we have a feud instead of Otis versus Miz and Morrison, which we're not getting anymore, thank Christ. Now we're getting Otis and Tucker, as if you fucking care about that. It's just nonsensical garbage coming out of the Money in the Bank briefcase situation. Then we got Elias versus Jeff Hardy. That was a SmackDown, should have been SmackDown match on pay-per-view. I didn't really give a shit about it. I don't think any of you in the chat gave a shit about it either. And then we got the United States Championship being defended and Retribution being treated like losers again. Slapjack, Slapdick, Slapnuts, whatever the fuck you want to call them. Challenging Bobby Lashley for the WWE United States Championship. I don't know why I would be interested in seeing something like that on pay-per-view. I don't know why you would book the match after what you did to Retribution on Monday night. They didn't have enough? I'll give you one hint, folks. How do you spell loser? Now, Humberto actually might be replaced in the alphabet. That's how bad Retribution has been treated. We might be looking at Retribution taking over the letter L. They might be taking over the letter L real estate in the alphabet, folks. How shitty is that? Humberto might be saved. So up and down, Hell in a Cell, not really all that memorable, but as far as the matches inside the structure, I do think it was a thumbs up show for sure. If you're going to put a bullet to my head, I would say it's a thumbs up show. We're going to go over it all, what happened in these matches, what I liked, what I didn't like, where we go from here into the Survivor Series. Going to be a good night, folks. So thank you so much for joining me. Hoot Media in the chat. I know you're listening to me, Hoot Media. I know you hear me, Hoot Media. Are we number one in the entire IWC? We got 2,000 deep in here already, man. It feels great to have all you guys spend your time with me this evening as we break this thing down better than anybody in the entire IWC. Hoot Media says you're number one by a few hundred, man. That's exactly what I like to see. So thank you guys so very much for spending your evening with me here on the Hell in a Cell post show on Off the Script. Follow me on Twitter, man, and thank you to everybody that live tweeted with me during the show at JD from NY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for notifications. Become a part of Team JD. Become an OTS VIP. You want to double down on that? Become a new member of the channel. You guys can do that by clicking join at the bottom of the screen in which you are watching from. So thank you guys for that. If you want to support the show, you have a variety of ways to do that. Number one, Patreon, patreon.com/JD from NY206. Thank you to the new patrons who just signed up this week. I really appreciate you guys. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Go and get your t-shirts, man. Bonfire.com is the exclusive home of JD is Negan and the new shirts that are on sale right now. Only place you can get them is Bonfire. Link is down in the description below this very video. Go and get your t-shirts. Mouthmasker.com. Go and get your face coverings, the official Off the Script mask, now in black. Mouthmasker.com/OTS. Really great. Feels great. Protect yourselves out there going on into the winter months. If you missed Off the Script yesterday, man, holy shit. The feedback I got on OTS for last night's show, man, as we booked not only WrestleMania 37, but partially we booked SummerSlam as well. We had some great retention on that video, man, where YouTube takes into consideration the analytics. The watch time for a video is the most important aspect, man. We had nearly 40 minutes of watch time per average view on that video, man. So when people reach out to me and then I see an analytic like that and they tell me JD was one of the best Off the Scripts all year, that is all I need to know, man. You guys were so engaged in that video, and you guys were blown away by what I brought to the table on how to book WrestleMania and make it one of the best shows that WWE could possibly put on for 2021. Go and watch it. Unbelievable show. So that is linked down below in the description. Live on the channel right now, Off the Script, episode 348, How to Book WrestleMania 37, and some of which we talked about on that podcast yesterday actually is in full effect. It's in motion right now, moving on into the Survivor Series with Randy Orton winning the WWE title, Sasha Banks winning the SmackDown title. I booked both of them in big marquee matches at WrestleMania, so go and check that out. Hit that thumbs up, of course. We got 571 likes. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. We should easily be over 1,000 right now, so the geeks in the chat who have not hit the thumbs up, I would really appreciate that. Let's get it over 1,000 before we even get into the meat and potatoes, before we even get into the tightest catering of this podcast tonight. And the show is brought to you by my great friends over at Tavour. We are back with Tavour for the holiday season, man, and you guys know that I love my cold beverages. I got some cold beverages sitting here unopened, and we're going to go over which ones they are, but you guys know I love my craft seasonal beers in the month of October, man, and my God, do I got a deal for you guys if you love craft beer just like I do for the winter months. Tavour is sponsoring the podcast. That is Tavour.com, and I'm going to show you some of the great stuff that they sent me to enjoy during a show like tonight with Hell in a Cell. So that is Tavour.com. You guys are going to be hearing about them a little bit later on in the show as they sent me so many great pumpkin beers, man. I don't know what to do with it, man. I'll be shitting pumpkin all season long with the amount of pumpkin beers that I got in the refrigerator right now. The pre-show, I did not take notes for the pre-show because it was Drew Gulak versus R-Truth. This is the extent of Hell in a Cell, folks. The pre-show was Drew Gulak challenging R-Truth for the 24/7 championship. I want to feel sorry for Drew Gulak. I really do. But at the end of the day, he was a free agent. And then at the end of the day, he opted to resign on his own with WWE and stay with the company. And this is what they are doing with him. Can you imagine a world-class professional wrestler? And I mean professional wrestler. Drew Gulak is chasing around a fucking title in which R-Truth is, what is he, 47-time champion? Give me a break. Really? R-Truth beats Drew Gulak, and it was just a couple of months ago where Drew Gulak was challenging AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship. I want to feel bad for him because of the position that he's in, but at the end of the day, I don't, because he brought this onto himself. This is what he gets for signing with the WWE. They look at Drew Gulak and they think this guy's a joke. Then we got the Lucha House Party out there trying to chase down the 24/7 championship. Akira Tozawa is still out there. You got the Lucha House Party drafted from SmackDown to Raw. They were fighting for the tag team championships just a month ago, and now they're chasing the 24/7 championship. What sense does that make? Where you have no tag teams, you're pretty much eliminating another tag team by putting them in the 24/7 title hunt. Awful. The fact that this shit is still on television should tell you the quality of WWE programming. Fucking awful. I don't know who finds this funny. I don't even know how they have the brain power to put this shit in the fucking show and not realize that this shit sucks. This shit sucks. Get it off the fucking show, man. It belongs nowhere near Monday, Friday, or pay-per-view. Nowhere. Nowhere. Moving on into the actual show. The show didn't start till 7:15. If you guys watched the pre-show, you've seen all these video packages. Nicely done. Then they opened the show with more video packages with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. I was actually cooking dinner. I didn't actually sit down till about 7:15. I had ate my dinner, put the dishes in the dishwasher, started the dishwasher, and by that time, I actually just sat down when the bell had rung 15 minutes after the show started at 7 o'clock. You knew WWE was taking their sweet-ass time with this show, knowing that they only had 5 legit matches scheduled for this show. Now, going into the show, there was news coming out of Hell in a Cell in the hours leading to Hell in a Cell. WWE actually cut it down to the wire for getting a script completed and prepared for Hell in a Cell. Ringside News learned that as of late last night, early this morning, good old Bruce didn't have a script completed. No shit. This is typical Bruce Pritchard for you folks. There was still no script for the pay-per-view as of early this morning. They were still trying to get things in order. Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer explained that Vince McMahon's thought process was booking Hell in a Cell just with the 3 Hell in a Cell matches, and he didn't have anything else to put the show together with. So all they had was the 3 Hell in a Cell matches, and that was it. That was it. Why even bother doing the pay-per-view? Why don't you just do it on weekly fucking television at that point? It's not even a fucking pay-per-view at that point. And what does that say about the rest of the roster and you caring about the rest of the fucking roster? I said this on Off the Script on Saturday. And I said it on the Off the Script Extra I did on Thursday. The reason why the card was non-existent and the reason why WWE had no other matches for this show was because they feel like having a draft in the middle of October, right before a pay-per-view like this, is the best way to go about it. They don't set themselves up for common sense. They don't set themselves up for logic. They don't set themselves up for success. WWE sets themselves up for failure. The reason why this show was only 3 matches deep up until fucking Saturday night, or Friday night when they added Jeff Hardy versus Elias, was because of a draft. That was it. You can't have storylines actually make sense. You can't build new feuds with anybody in 2 weeks to put on pay-per-view and have it mean something if you're going to do a draft 2 weeks before pay-per-view. They got nobody to blame but themselves. Now, what I would do, never mind taking Hell in a Cell off the pay-per-view calendar, If you legit want a draft, how about you take the draft and make it an event all by itself and not have a pay-per-view following it 2 weeks after the draft? There should be no pay-per-view in the month of the draft, just so that you could get yourselves ready with feuds and making things feel important and having things make sense. WWE has nobody to blame but themselves. So the show was only 3 matches, and those 3 matches all took place inside Hell in a Cell. Everything else was a complete waste of Monday Night Raw time. Better served for Monday Night Raw, no question. Now, before the show actually started as well, there were plans to close the show with a match, and then things changed. Obviously, there were people advocating for Roman Reigns and Jey Uso to headline the show, which after watching the entire show, I would have liked to see happen. Just based on what happened at the end of both matches, I do think Roman Reigns coming out with his family at the end of the show, at the end of that match, would have been the right way to end the show. Randy Orton winning the WWE Championship, yeah, it's a big thing, it's a title change, but I can't find it to be more important than Roman Reigns disowning the Usos from the Anoa'i family, and then having his fucking father stand out there with him. Doesn't really make much sense to me. So people were advocating for Roman Reigns and Jey Uso to close the show, and then as of Saturday morning, I guess with the script being written, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton was slated to close the show, and that did not change. Now, WrestleVotes actually reported that Banks versus Bayley was slated to close the show. Clearly, plans changed as we got closer to the pay-per-view. So things changed. Just like Vince McMahon changes suits, WWE changed plans, and that's the way it ended up. Now, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso actually opened the show. Instead of closing the show, it opened the show. This was for the Universal Championship. This is easily the best storyline on WWE television. It has been, it will be, it will continue to be. Now that Bayley and Sasha Banks is all but over, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso for the Universal title inside Hell in a Cell was absolutely fucking masterful. I used that term during the Clash of Champions match that they had, which closed that show. And they actually came back on Hell in a Cell Sunday and did an even better job building off what they did at the Clash of the Champions pay-per-view. This was absolutely fucking unbelievable. To a point where if you told me that you guys teared up at the end of that match, I would probably not even bat an eyelash at you. Because it used real-life family, it used real emotion. Everybody involved here played their parts brilliantly, to a point where Roman Reigns legitimately, on cue, cried in the middle of the ring at the end of that match. And then all of a sudden, channeled his inner demon and became the biggest dick in the history of the entire Anoa'i family. Unbelievable. This guy is doing the best job of his career. Roman Reigns. Never mind the fucking Shield. Never mind what he did after the Shield as he ran singles, his torture over the WWE product. Roman Reigns, this is the best that Roman Reigns has looked. And I'll say it again, man, I was wrong. When Jey Uso was announced as the number 1 contender for the WWE Universal title, I didn't really like it all that much because it signified a problem in WWE. They had no real true baby faces to challenge Roman Reigns. So they pretty much had their backs against the wall, hoping this worked. And they're using the entire family aspect to sell this storyline on SmackDown. And now they still don't have anybody to challenge Roman Reigns after the fact, because I'm assuming this thing with the Usos is over. I don't know where they go from here. I have my idea on where they go. But Roman Reigns, looking at the SmackDown roster, doesn't have any true baby faces to challenge for the Universal Championship. They just teamed Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens on SmackDown. Why you would do that, I don't know. I got geeks on social media fucking loving the idea. I love how fucking stupid they are, because how stupid they are just makes me more right at the end of the day. So continue being fucking stupid. You're taking 2 true cut baby faces on SmackDown and teaming them together when you have, look at that roster. There's no baby faces on SmackDown to challenge Roman Reigns. And no, Big E is not ready yet. Big E is not ready yet. We're talking about Jey Uso. Then we're talking about Goldberg coming back and getting his match with Reigns on possibly a Royal Rumble card. That's what you got planned for Roman Reigns? Come on. So there is no babyface right now worth anything on SmackDown to challenge Roman Reigns. I was absolutely against Jey Uso for these reasons alone. And they are doing absolutely some of the best work possibly of their careers. All three of these guys, Jimmy, Jey, and Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman. Goes to show you that Paul Heyman manning the pen for this storyline is really a genius because he's got it down so far to where it's now at an emotional level. And every word, every movement, every action, you give a shit about everything Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso are doing. It's fucking awesome. Now, did it need to be inside Hell in a Cell? No. This match did not need to be inside Hell in a Cell. They barely used the structure up until the ending of the match. In fact, the ending of the match, the way it played out, you could have easily done that without the structure and just have an I Quit match between these two guys. You didn't really need the structure. So I would have actually preferred WWE not put this inside Hell in a Cell. They just used it to sell the aspect of Roman Reigns bringing down the consequences on Jey Uso. The consequences would have been the consequences. They would have been terrible consequences regardless of this match being inside Hell in a Cell or not. So it really didn't need Hell in a Cell at the end of the night. When you look back at this, it did not need Hell in a Cell. But the match was fucking awesome, man. This was more like a story. This was more like a Broadway play than anything. This was a really great episodic episode, drama-filled, of your favorite TV show, all wrapped up into a wrestling angle showcased on pay-per-view. That's exactly what it was. It more was along the lines of a great story playing out instead of an actual wrestling match on the pay-per-view tonight. Show didn't start till 7:15. Roman Reigns worked a very slow, methodical pace in this match, playing up his heel role. Nothing really over the top. Jey tried to come back with a big knee to the head. Big dive through the ropes into the cell to the outside. Twice, one on one side and then again on the opposite side of the ring. Uso continued to throw Reigns into the cell on the outside, yelling, "We about to get this work in, Us. Today, you about to quit." So there was a ton of trash talking. Mics were really queued up to be loud, picking up all their verbal exchanges in the middle of the ring. Back in the ring, finally, after the match taking place mostly on the outside, Reigns hit a spear on Uso out of the corner after Jey took too much time setting Reigns up. Reigns then went underneath the ring and grabbed a chair. And Uso nailed him with a missile dropkick through the ropes to stop him. Reigns came right back with another spear, yelling at Uso, "Just quit, just quit. I don't want to have to do this. You're making me into the bad guy. If you don't, I will end you," he says. Roman went for a third spear. Uso came back with a kick to the stomach. Super kick. He went up top for the Uso splash. He got the Uso splash, but there's no pinfalls because it's an I Quit match. So Uso went back up, hit a second splash. Ref was asking Roman if he wants to quit, and he said the head of the table never quits. No. So Uso is now outside contemplating his next move. He goes underneath the ring to grab a leather strap. This went from a Hell in a Cell match to an I Quit match to a strap match all in one. Grabbed the leather strap underneath the ring. Heyman was yelling at Uso from outside the cage, "Please don't." Uso was yelling back, "What do you mean, please don't?" And then he proceeded to whip Roman Reigns with the strap viciously 3 times across the back. And Roman Reigns, out of nowhere, hits his third spear of the match to stop the punishment by Jey Uso. Roman's head on this third spear connected a little bit too much in the chest, where Jey actually started yelling at the referee, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe." So that was pretty vicious right there. Really brutal spear by Roman Reigns. Reigns now with the strap. He's whipping Uso, Shot after shot, back to front. Uso is writhing in pain at this point. Uso gets back to his feet after Reigns tried to pull him up with the strap. And they go back and forth with punches and kicks. Roman goes for the Superman punch. He misses. Jey grounds him quickly. And he starts choking Roman Reigns out with the strap across the face and the throat. There was a moment where Reigns looked like he passed out, but he got up and caught himself a second wind. Roman says no after the referee asked him several times if he quit. Uso now grabs a steel chair. He waits too long to attack Roman with the chair. Reigns hits a Superman punch. Reigns then gets the new guillotine choke that he's been using on Uso. Referee asks Uso if he wants to quit, and he doesn't say it. So Roman starts talking trash. All you had to do was acknowledge me. I swear to God, I will not be responsible for what comes next. Just say it. So Paul Heyman's on the outside. He's saying something to Roman Reigns. Roman was telling Paul Heyman to shut his mouth on the outside. I'm going to do what I got to do to him right here. So Roman dragged Uso to the outside. He put him on the apron. He delivered his drive-by on the outside. So Roman takes the steel steps and he places them against Jey's head on the apron. Jey was knocked out. So Jey is laying across, stomach first, on the apron. Roman Reigns puts the steel steps right next to Jey's head, does another drive-by, and slams the steps into Uso's head. Roman was so frustrated that he took him by the neck and threw the referee over the top rope at this point because Jey Uso would not say, I quit. So Roman figured, you know what, let me take this fucking referee. I can do what I want. I'm the tribal chief. He took him by the throat in the ring and threw him over the top rope. So the outside referee came in. He opened the door. So the outside referee came in, which prompted him to open the door, like I said. Now he's in the ring, and then all of a sudden we got Adam Pearce out there. We got Pat Buck out there. A slew of WWE officials out there. Reigns takes the steps. They're all afraid to get involved here, so they're letting Reigns do whatever he's got to do. Reigns takes the steps and places them over Jey's throat as he's laying on his back in the middle of the ring. He was about to legit bash Jey's skull in. And out comes Jimmy. Jimmy got into the cell because the door was open by all the referees and the officials trying to get into this thing to stop Roman Reigns from beating the shit out of Jey Uso. Jimmy ran out there. And before Roman Reigns can do anything with the steel steps, he legitimately had the steps in the air. He was about to bring it down across Jey's face. Jimmy went in there and covered Jey Uso, protecting his brother from Roman Reigns' vicious attack. After several minutes of what looked to be bonding between family, Jimmy was asking, what the fuck is wrong with you? Who are you? Why are you doing this? And Jimmy was actually caught saying, and I love this, man, I love this. This is Joshua we're talking about. This isn't Jey Uso now. This is Joshua. What the fuck are you doing? So he's calling him by his real name. He's calling his brother by his real name. Reigns, at this point, stands down. He's sitting in the ring. He's putting his hands over his face, his eyes red, legit crying over Jimmy Uso being real with him in the middle of the ring. Why are you doing this? Why do you feel the need to do this? We're family, Us. What are you doing? Reigns seemed to be sympathetic and sorry. His eyes were all red. Jimmy reached out with his hand to grab Roman. They looked like they were going to embrace, and all of a sudden, Reigns' tears and the red-eyed Roman Reigns went from being sympathetic to choking Jimmy Uso out with the guillotine. And he was choking Jimmy Uso out all while Jey Uso was coming to. He was finally regaining consciousness. He sees Roman choking his brother out, and to save his brother, Jey Uso says, I quit. Brilliant. Absolutely fucking brilliant. Instead of Jey Uso saying it himself because he couldn't beat Roman Reigns and he wanted to give up. I had enough, Us, you beat me. It took Jimmy to be choked out for Jey to finally say, you know what, I give up. I can't watch you do that to my brother. You could do it to me. You couldn't put me away, so now you're doing it to Jimmy because he's the one who's hurt now. So Jey says, I quit. Not only does that make the bond between Jimmy and Jey stronger, not only does it let them present themselves in a way where they are strong and powerful, but Roman Reigns, man, it fucking triples down on Roman Reigns being the biggest prick in all of WWE. He couldn't get the job done, so he looks to feed upon a weakened, injured Jimmy Uso, and he got Jey Uso to say, I quit. Unbelievable fucking storytelling, man. This is like NXT, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano level storytelling right here, man. That, to me, was, up until this point, the best storyline in WWE in many, many, many years. The classics that they put on. The body language, the facial expressions, the emotion, knowing that they are brothers in real life. Legit best friends. This is giving that a run for its money. This is unbelievable. I love every fucking minute of this, man. I really, really do. At the end of the match, Roman Reigns walked out. His family was out there. His father was out there. Alpha and Sika were there. And they had embraced Roman Reigns on the stage. And they both held Roman Reigns' hands up in the air and pretty much anointed him the tribal chief right then and there, man. You talk about a celebration of Roman becoming the tribal chief. Roman Reigns is more made and more over now as a heel after that sequence with Alpha and Sika on the ramp. You talk about tribal chief, man, they just fucking threw that right in your face, right there. Tribal chief, motherfucker, he's the king of this motherfucker now. Awesome, awesome, awesome stuff. Now, there was a rumor going around about Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso. There was a rumor going around that WWE might actually break up the Usos at Hell in a Cell. Clearly, that was not the case. And even before the match was to take place, Ringside News tried to get the information on this to find out if it was a legit rumor and if it was in the plans for WWE to do that. And they squashed it right before the show. They actually spoke to a member of the creative writing team explicitly, and this writing team member said, fake news, it is not in the plans. This, I'm glad, was not the case. Now, what do I think is going to happen here? I do think that at the end of all of this, they are going to succumb to Roman Reigns. They are going to admit he's the tribal chief, and I do think we will start seeing a Roman Empire of sorts, a Samoan dynasty on SmackDown. If you can't beat him, join him. Why are they going to continue to do what they are doing or what they have done when Roman Reigns has come out on top every single time? And now with the scene of Alpha and Sika at the end of this match with the Usos looking on, they are going to be good little boys. They're going to be good little soldiers, and they are going to abide and follow the family. After that sequence, they're going to have to say, you know what, Us? Seeing Alpha and Sika do that, we got no choice. We're going to label you and crown you the tribal chief. We're going to do what you say. They are going to join Roman Reigns, and we are going to see a Samoan dynasty on SmackDown. This is some great fucking storytelling, man. I got to tip my cap to Paul Heyman. I really do. Whatever has been concocted here and whatever the plan is, I am absolutely all in. I don't want to pat myself on the back. I know there were several people in the community that have called for a Roman Reigns heel turn, but when they did, I never gave up. Everybody might have been wanting Roman Reigns to be heel for the same exact reasons I wanted Roman Reigns to be heel, but when they kind of gave up on the discussion and just kind of conceded to the fact that Vince is never going to do it, and it's never going to happen, I never gave up on that aspect. I continued to say every single year, and I made it a big deal, turn this motherfucker heel. You're going to get exactly what you want, and it's going to be a game-breaking situation for Roman Reigns and his career. Now look at it. This is the best work that Roman Reigns could possibly ever be given us. It is awesome. And when this culminates in however it's going to culminate, look at where he is now. Imagine what he's going to be by WrestleMania. I was disappointed when he didn't come out with new theme music. He still has that Shield theme music. I'm hoping when Roman Reigns says, listen, it's in the works. We got it done. We're going to unveil it when the time is right. I hope that the transformation of Roman Reigns is still going to be an ongoing thing. We need to move away, move as far away and fucking just excommunicate ourselves from that version of Roman Reigns. This is fucking awesome to a point where the JD of old would be saying, I fucking hate Roman Reigns. I hate the character. This shit sucks. I'm at a point right now where Roman Reigns is easily, in my eyes, the best thing on WWE television. He may be my favorite pro wrestler right now. And look at what you did. You used logic and you used common sense. You came to your senses. Now look, this is all I ever wanted. I never wanted to hate Roman Reigns. WWE made me hate Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman has made me love Roman Reigns. All you needed was somebody to know what the fuck they were doing and move away from the formulaic way this guy was presented. And the result could not be any perfect. Fucking great. Absolutely love it. Now we're going on to the Survivor Series. Now Roman Reigns is at a stage in 2020 where they don't have anybody planned. I don't know what they're going to do for TLC. In fact, I wouldn't even have Roman Reigns defend the title at TLC. It doesn't need to be. These end-of-the-year shows are worthless. They really are. Why are you going to struggle to find somebody for Roman Reigns to defend the title against? Unless it's Jimmy. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think they're going to continue this again. I do think they're going to join forces with Roman. There's nobody on that show to challenge Roman Reigns. Whoever it is looking at an eventual L. So it really doesn't matter. So save it. So you might as well bring Goldberg back early and start building the Royal Rumble match with Goldberg early. Because that's exactly what I predict it's going to be. It's going to be Roman Reigns versus Goldberg at the Royal Rumble. Because that's an easy match. Royal Rumble calls for a big championship match. It really isn't all that important. Roman Reigns is not going to lose the title before WrestleMania. You might as well just get the build out there right now. They can build upon the match that wasn't at WrestleMania this year. It gives Roman another fucking big win over a big name guy. Goldberg should be used in that way anyway, by putting others over. So instead of having Roman defend the title at TLC, get him through Survivor Series. Get him the match with Orton. Start concocting a fuck finish, whether Edge comes back or not, or Goldberg comes back or not, and we start booking Roman versus Goldberg at Royal Rumble. Then we can start booking Roman versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. That's the way I would do it. And that's exactly what I predicted on the podcast on Saturday. Again, if you guys want to go check that out, link is down in the description. Video is on the channel right now, live, episode 348. So, what was going to follow? The great story of Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. Whatever was going to follow, clearly, was never going to matter anyway. So WWE did the right thing and put Elias versus Jeff Hardy on to follow Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. This match was a Monday Night Raw match, disguising itself as a pay-per-view match. It did not need to be on the show. Elias came out, he strummed his guitar, and he asked, who wants to walk with Elias? It doesn't sound the same without the fans physically being there. He complained about Jeff Hardy trying to end his career by hitting him with the car, which doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. The one who hit Elias with the car was Sheamus, being that we got somebody with red hair who escaped the scene of the crime. So Elias still thinks it's Jeff Hardy who ran him over with that vehicle all those months ago during the summer. I don't even know why this story is continuing, but here we are. He said his new album comes out tomorrow called Universal Truth. That should be the subtitle of what we do here on OTS. He sang a song at Hardy's expense, and he closed with the line, WWE stands for Walk with Elias, while Jeff Hardy stands for DUI. Great, we're just adding on Jeff Hardy being a drunk and an alcoholic. Great. Like we didn't see this with Sheamus for fucking 4 months, right? Come on, Bruce. You gotta write better than that, bro. I'm sorry, you're not capable of writing. Back and forth we go. Hardy took it to Elias at ringside. They were back in the ring eventually. Hardy fought back, landed an atomic drop and a drop kick for a 2 count. Hardy stood and he was playing up to the fans on the virtual screens. He went for a twist of fate. Elias blocked the twist of fate, gave Hardy a turning sit-out powerbomb for a near fall. Hardy landed a whisper in the wind a couple of seconds later. Then he hit a twist of fate, took his shirt off, and then climbed to the top rope. Elias rolled to the outside. Hardy jumped down. He went after Elias. Elias went to go grab the guitar because he got desperate. But Hardy took it from him, and then Hardy bashed the guitar across Elias's back. The referee DQ'd Jeff Hardy. He might have been drunk. I don't know. So he got himself disqualified in a match against Elias. I don't blame him. Jeff Hardy in that moment realized that this match was a fucking waste of time. He probably didn't even want to be there. So he said, you know what? Let me take this guitar and get myself disqualified and get myself back home. Back to the hotel room. Elias wins by DQ. Why this match couldn't happen on Monday Night Raw, I don't know. How many of you in the chat actually gave a shit about this match? I'm going to say 0. 0. And then there are plans, which we talked about on the podcast yesterday, where WWE is looking at Elias, and they're looking at him being a main event player on Monday Night Raw. Now, that does not bode well for us, because I think Elias is just terribly boring. But Elias being a main event player would actually fit into the vibe of Monday Night Raw. The show is terrible, so why not add another terrible wrestler to the main event scene on Monday night? But then they reported where WWE does want to make Elias into a main event player. They look at Elias as a chameleon. He could be put into any role, in any situation, and WWE looks at him like he is a guy that could do anything for them. Whether it's a babyface or a heel, go up against that guy, go up against this guy. I don't find Elias to be entertaining at all. You know what I honestly think of Elias? I think that ship has sailed. I was actually a big fan of Elias. WWE waited way too long to do anything with this guy, and they treated him like a one-trick pony. All they did was have him come out and play and have someone interrupt him. That's exactly what they did. They did that for 3 years, and now all of a sudden they want me to take him to be a main event player on Monday night. No. No. There are a ton of other guys on that show that deserve that opportunity more so than Elias. This match did not need to happen on pay-per-view, and it was absolutely a waste of everybody's time. Otis versus The Miz. This was for the Money in the Bank briefcase. We got Law and Otis on Friday night. I renamed it to Law and OTS. Just take out the I in Otis, and what do you got? OTS. The Money in the Bank briefcase is fucking dead. The concept is dead. Nobody gives a shit about it. WWE uses the Money in the Bank briefcase to get the next in line over. Whoever they deem the next in line to be the WWE or Universal Champion. They put that briefcase on somebody that they deem ready. An up-and-coming superstar. Now, it's also a storyline where it gives WWE 12 months to actually plan out what they want to do. And they didn't do anything like that this year. In fact, they actually gave somebody that they did not have any plans for the Money in the Bank briefcase, and they expected us to take Otis as a serious threat for the Money in the Bank briefcase. Otis ended up exactly what I said he would end up as, and that is a flavor of the month for WWE. April was the month of Otis. Everybody was so high on Otis. He got Mandy Rose. He was being pushed by Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon loved Otis. And then what happened? Just like a fucking piece of food, it went stale. Then they take the Otis product off the shelf and throw it away. Otis was a toy in Vince McMahon's toy chest that he figured he would fall in love with, and eventually he got bored of it. And now Otis is back on the shelf to not be used in the way that Vince McMahon initially wanted him to be used. That's all it is. That's all it is. Otis was never going to beat Braun Strowman for the Universal title. Braun Strowman was never going to beat Bray Wyatt for the Universal title. Braun Strowman would never, in 1,000 years, beat Roman Reigns for the Universal title. So why does this guy have the briefcase? Why didn't it go to Aleister Black? Why didn't it go to AJ Styles? Why didn't it go to Baron Corbin? I would have given it to Baron Corbin over fucking Otis, and I can't stand fucking Baron Corbin. What a joke. We're looking at the Money in the Bank briefcase now as a fucking joke. The pay-per-view, just like Hell in a Cell and all these gimmick shows, should be abolished. I would if I was in charge of WrestleMania, the first thing I would do is cancel the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and I would actually take the match concept and place it back on WrestleMania Sunday, and I would have it be 3 Monday Night Raw guys and 3 SmackDown guys, and whoever wins it, whichever brand wins it, gets a championship match of their choice for a major title, world title, on that brand that they are on. Or if you want to have fun with it, have a Monday Night Raw guy win it, maybe shows up on SmackDown, gives it that little unpredictability factor. Whatever. Cancel the pay-per-view, put it back on WrestleMania, and in place of Money in the Bank, we do King of the Ring. And then you do the King of the Ring tournament, which would get us a main event for SummerSlam. The winner of the tournament would win the number one contendership for whichever brand they're on and the main event of SummerSlam. This is a very simple concept that has not been done. And WWE refuses to acknowledge that there are just holes in their logic and in their concept. They're not doing the best that they can. And the Money in the Bank briefcase falls into that. It is now a joke. The Money in the Bank briefcase was treated like the 24/7 championship. And we need to fix it immediately. A once great concept is now dead because WWE wanted to be funny and give it to a tag team wrestler that had no business of being a single. Otis versus The Miz for the Money in the Bank briefcase. Otis came out to new theme music. This fit his singles run, I guess, because he is blue-collar solid. So they gave him some trucker-like theme because he's blue-collar solid. We didn't really think that Tucker was going to turn, so now the new theme music kind of sits rather well because now he's not a part of a tag team. A Morrison distraction here gave Miz an opening to take over for a few minutes. Miz applied a sleeper hold on Otis. He threw the terrible yes kicks that he stole from Daniel Bryan. Otis made a comeback and went for the Caterpillar. Morrison yanked Miz to safety. Back in the ring, Miz caught Otis. Morrison almost hit Otis with the briefcase, but Jessica Carr, the referee, saw him, and he stopped short. And then she ended up kicking Morrison away from the ringside area. She sent him to the back. Otis schoolboyed Miz, who was upset at John Morrison being thrown out. He got a 2 count. Otis hit a discus clothesline for a 2. Tucker then all of a sudden grabs the briefcase, and when Otis missed a move, he flew into the ropes, and Tucker took a swing with the briefcase, nailing Otis in the head with the briefcase. Yes, Tucker turns on Otis. Miz rolled Otis over and pinned him, and now is the owner of the Money in the Bank briefcase. Now, with the briefcase now transferring to Otis, that does not mean The Miz has now reset the time in which he can cash in. It was 12 months for Otis to cash it in. It would go from April to April. So now Miz has the briefcase, and it expires in the same time that it would have for Otis, so in April. And we just went around in circles here, folks. We just went around in circles. Miz isn't doing anything with the briefcase at all. Look at who the champions are. Both Randy Orton and Roman Reigns are going to factor into major WrestleMania plans. We're not getting The Miz as WWE champion. We're not. So I don't know why this even is a talking point on this show. Otis was never going to win a championship, and neither is The Miz. So you took the briefcase off somebody that was never going to win a championship and put it on somebody that is never going to win a championship. All while destroying the entire prestige of the Money in the Bank briefcase. All while destroying the fun of the Money in the Bank briefcase. Miz is not cashing in on Orton. Miz is not cashing in on Reigns. Maybe Edge wins the title against Randy Orton, and on Monday night, Edge has Miz cash in on him. I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out there. I hope to God not. I hope to God not. But I don't think Miz is winning any championships, and we're just going to go around in circles. So, what was the point of all this? And WWE doubled down on breaking up Heavy Machinery. It's as if they live to disappoint me. They broke up Heavy Machinery. They could have easily gotten Heavy Machinery back together. And they doubled down on keeping them split. So now we got Otis, a babyface, and Tucker, a heel, both now single. Again, I fail to see how both of these guys are going to thrive in a singles role when we all know that their strength is together. I don't understand it. This is a waste of time for everybody, folks. Really, just a waste of time for everybody. Graves said very excitedly that Miz was the new Money in the Bank briefcase holder. As if it's going to make any bigger of a deal now that it's on The Miz. So, Kayla Braxton was backstage with The Miz. She congratulated Miz for winning. Was this victory worth destroying Otis's life, she asked. Miz says he's doing what he needed for the betterment of the business. He said the briefcase is a golden opportunity. He will not squander it. He warned that the WWE Champion and Universal Champion are now on notice. Miz said Otis obviously took his friend for granted. Tucker showed up. He told Miz and Morrison this wasn't about them. Braxton then asked him the ever-important question of why he did what he did. And he explained that he was the workhorse of the team, and he put the team first. I treated him like a brother, but for what? He said everyone noticed Otis and never wanted him to talk and wanted him to step aside and stay out of the spotlight. Truth is, he can't function without me. Otis came running backstage. He attacked Tucker. Tucker ran away, and Otis chased after him. Do you care? I know I don't. I don't give a single shit about Miz, Morrison, the briefcase, to Otis or Tucker. Now, with Otis and Tucker feuding, what do you think is going to happen? Nothing. I'll tell you what I do care about, man. I will tell you what I do care about. And that is a nice cold beverage. How many of you guys in the chat? There might be some underage people in the chat here, man. I don't condone drinking underage, okay? How many of you guys love a cold beverage, man? One in the chat if you enjoy a cold beverage. Man, I got a deal for you. I really got a deal for you, man. If you guys go visit Tavour, Tavour.com. That is TAVOUR.com. And you guys spend over $25 on any cold beverages whatsoever. Over $25 or more on cold beverages, you guys will get $10 off using code SCRIPT at checkout, man. That is a good deal. That is an awesome deal if you ask me, because the fall season is the absolute best time to drink any fall seasonal beers, man. Going into the fall and Christmas months, unbelievable stuff, really. Tavour is 100% independent. Over 650 breweries deal with Tavour. They have beers from over 47 states, so no matter where you live, you're definitely going to get a good cold craft beer from the state in which you live. And over 7,000 beers have been tasted, man. Download the app. It's very simple. Download the app to get access to hard-to-find beers. 100% independently owned. New beers added every day. You can discover your own beer, build a custom box of beers you love based on your flavor profiles, and they deliver. How great is that, man? They deliver right to you. Ship any amount of your handpicked beer right to your doorstep. It's fucking awesome. Now listen to this. They sent me some really great craft beer. I chose two that I want to show right here, man, that I can't wait to drink. We got Hoppin' Frog. This is Frog's Hollow Double Pumpkin Ale. Look at that. I love me a can with some nice artwork, man. This is the 2010 Gold American Beer Festival winner. This is brewed with pumpkin, spices, cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, allspice, and clove. Man, you're talking my language when you are adding ingredients like that. And then this is the one I can't wait to try, man. This is Hardywood Pappy's Pumpkin Pie. Look at that. Pumpkin, coconut, and spices. Bro, Tavour.com, use code SCRIPT at checkout. $25 or more you spend on Tavour, you're going to get $10 off using code SCRIPT, man. I want to thank them for supporting the show. Awesome, awesome, awesome stuff. Moving on here, man. Bayley versus Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This was a damn good one. Some people might be on record saying this was the match of the night for them. I don't know. That Roman Reigns Jey Uso match to me was the best. But this was awesome. Both Bayley and Sasha Banks, legitimately, you just seen it in everything that they were doing, in every movement Sasha Banks made, in every movement Bayley made. You watched them, and they went out there, and you could see they wanted to steal the show. You could tell that they wanted to one-up whatever was on the show that came before them. It was great. Now, I said one of two things happens here. I still think my idea is the right way to go about it. But WWE clearly, obviously with Sasha Banks winning the championship, is moving in a different direction. I would have loved to have this at WrestleMania. I don't think this match should have been inside Hell in a Cell. I don't. If you were going to book this match inside Hell in a Cell, then it should have been done in a way that gets Bayley to retain the championship, put an end to Sasha Banks for now. Either A, move Sasha Banks to Monday Night Raw. B, have Sasha Banks say, if I can't beat you, I will never get another championship match as long as you're on the same brand. Or against you, or as long as you're holding the championship. She would lose. Bayley would beat Sasha Banks inside Hell in a Cell, and Sasha would go on to draw number one in the Royal Rumble, or have Bayley rig the Royal Rumble where Sasha Banks draws number one, and she goes on to win the Royal Rumble. Simple. Bayley thought she got rid of Sasha Banks, and Sasha Banks wins the Royal Rumble. Sasha challenges Bayley for the SmackDown title at WrestleMania, takes the title at WrestleMania. That was a very simple, easy way to get this from Hell in a Cell. Have it continue to be booked while not being booked at the same time. We get to January, Sasha wins the Rumble, we get to Mania, and boom. Culmination. You'd get two matches out of it, one inside the cell, one at WrestleMania, and then we would be all over. We would be all over. That was my way of doing it. That's the way I wanted it to have happen. I just look at this as a WrestleMania match, and I know for a fact that there were plans in place to have it go to WrestleMania, but I know that the heads that were booking this thing, they just don't have any patience. They don't have any patience. The other thing was, Sasha Banks wins it. We end it. She's the new SmackDown Women's Champion, and then we start building Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair already came out on Talking Smack and said she's going to be paying very close attention to this match, and she wants the SmackDown Women's Championship. Now, Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair is a WrestleMania match all to itself. I know that for a fact, man. Take my fucking money. I'll even tip you. Seriously. That is a WrestleMania match just made for greatness right there. And I know Bianca would love to work with Sasha. I know Sasha would love to work with Bianca. I mean, that's not any secret whatsoever. But I do think that Bayley versus Sasha was the right way to go about it. I think Sasha Bianca could have been saved for SummerSlam. I don't think there's going to be enough women on the brand to really get this to be a WrestleMania match now with Bianca and Sasha, because that's what people are going to be talking about. We may get Sasha versus Bayley again, which would defeat the purpose of the Hell in a Cell. I hope to God that doesn't happen. I could see WWE doing that. But how many times are we going to get Bianca versus Sasha before we get to WrestleMania? You mean to tell me WWE is going to not book Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks in a match? It's October. We got November, December, January, February. They're going to hold off on that match for 4 months? I don't see that happening. I really don't. So we may be looking at a situation where WWE is going to get slightly impatient. I do think that Bayley versus Sasha Banks was best saved for WrestleMania. I really do. But we're not there. We didn't get it. Bayley versus Banks happened, and this was a damn good Hell in a Cell match. In my eyes, the only match tonight that was worthy of being inside Hell in a Cell. Now, right as the cell was lowering, Sasha Banks kicked Bayley's chair out of her hands and outside the ring. It started as you would expect. Bayley did not have her comforting chair anymore. So as the cell lowered, the bell rang. Sasha took it to Bayley with some stiff shots, really intense. That's the way you start this match because she is going after Bayley injuring her neck. She got in an early bank statement on Bayley, but Bayley ducked out of the ring and took control, slamming Sasha into the side of the cage. Bayley went underneath the ring for a kendo stick, which we've seen a lot of tonight, man. WWE's budget on kendo sticks tonight was a little over budget. Bayley goes underneath the ring for a kendo stick, and Sasha ducked 3 times on 3 attempts by Bayley. She takes the kendo stick and throws it through one of the holes in the cage and gets rid of it. Bayley goes for another kendo stick, uses it again, and she was trying to use any cheap tactic that she can. Now, it really wasn't cheap because it was legal, but she was showing her desperation to get the one-up on Sasha Banks early. Sasha pulls out a table, sets it up. Bayley tried to stop her, and 3 times Bayley was slammed into the cage as she grabbed onto the end of the table. So they tried to set up a table. Bayley had one end, Sasha had the other, and they were playing tug-of-war at the table. Sasha said, you know what? I'm just going to jam this table into the cell and you along with it 3 times. So she shoved the table with Bayley on the other end into the cage 3 times. Sasha then ran up the table because it was slanted. It was on one leg. The other legs were cut out from underneath it. It was slanted horizontally and it was, or vertically, I should say. It was more like a ramp. Sasha ran up the table and delivered a meteora flying at Bayley into the cage, which looked great. Back in the ring, she goes for another meteora, jumps off the top rope, gets a 2 count. Several moments of back and forth as the majority of this match took place on the outside, and rightfully so because it's an intense battle. Sasha delivered a dropkick to Bayley that sent her flying into the steel steps. Sasha set up some kendo sticks through the holes of the steel steps and the holes of the cage. So she almost made a kendo stick bridge as if she was playing limbo or whatever the fuck that you gotta, whatever. She set up a nice little bridge of kendo sticks. Now, she did something similar last year in the Becky Lynch match last year. Bayley stopped it as Sasha came charging and tripped Sasha into the steel steps, which looked and sounded brutal. So Bayley set up the kendo sticks like Sasha had them, and she slingshotted Sasha up into the kendo sticks from the ground. Back in the ring quickly, Bayley gets a 2 count. She worked on Sasha's neck after the spot with the steel steps. Bayley was yelling at Sasha on the apron, "Boss my ass! You're a boss with a broken neck." Sasha, in anger, grabbed Bayley, powerbombed her into the side of the cage outside. Sasha was choking Bayley out with a steel chair in the ring. Bayley took control, tripped Sasha up as she landed face first on said steel chair. Bayley puts the chair in between the turnbuckles. Sasha counters Bayley into the chair, but it was Bayley who delivered a sunset bomb to Banks into the chair, as was propped up in the corner between the 3rd and 2nd turnbuckles. Sasha's head hit the back of the chair, which looked nasty. Bayley goes up top with an elbow drop, gets a 2 count. Sasha comes right back with a backstabber and a bank statement. Bayley rolls out of the ring again, ties Banks up in the apron. Banks is hanging upside down and Bayley slams Banks into the steel beam underneath the ring as she's hanging upside down on the apron, starts beating her with a kendo stick for added insult to injury. Really nice spot there. Bayley took duct tape now underneath the ring. It was like fucking Ace Hardware underneath the ring. She ties 2 kendo sticks together. It really didn't go the way Bayley wanted it. So Sasha, in the meantime, while Bayley was fiddling around with these kendo sticks, she takes a fire extinguisher and sprays it in Bayley's face. Sasha now unloading on Bayley, throwing Bayley into the cage, slapping Bayley around, Meteora again into the side of the cage. We're back in the ring, and Sasha is just going at Bayley with the kendo stick, shot after shot after shot. Bayley crawling away, reaching for her steel chair. Sasha gave her this false sense of hope, kicked her as she went for the chair. She went up top for a frog splash. She hit the frog splash, but when Bayley was on the ground, facing up, she had the chair on her chest. So Sasha nailed the frog splash, but she came down on the chair as well. So she actually hurt herself. Bayley crawls to the outside. Banks follows. Bayley dropped Banks face first on the mat outside, which sounded nasty. Went for a quick cover. Bayley then got frustrated. She goes under the ring again. She pulls out a ladder. So Bayley has a ladder in the ring. She sets up 2 chairs and the ladder across the 2 chairs in the ring. She drops Banks face first on the ladder. Sasha now laying back first on the ladder. She sprays Bayley. Goes underneath the ring. Takes a spray and a can of spray paint. She sprays Sasha Banks up and down her body with black spray paint. Then she goes off the top rope with a steel chair elbow drop. Sasha moves. Meteora by Banks as she jumps off the ladder. Banks then with a Bayley to belly on the ladder for a very close near fall. Bayley then comes back with a wicked knee strike right to the face. Quick Bayley to belly of her own. Got the nearest pinfall of the match. And then Bayley with the chair now across the back of Sasha Banks several times. She went for the Bayley to belly with the steel chair, but Banks reversed the Bayley to belly, puts Bayley's head in the steel chair, all while she was kicking the chair into Bayley's face, and Bayley tapped out. So not only did Sasha have the Banks statement on, but she was just slamming the steel chair into Bayley's face. And Bayley taps out. Sasha Banks is the new SmackDown Women's Champion. Sasha stared a hole into Bayley at the end of the match, and she was just fixated on Bayley, which was great. It was a great visual. A great visual. She looked and stared a hole into Bayley, and then when the referee finally came over with the title, she kind of came out of this trance. And she realized she had just won the SmackDown Women's Championship, man. Really, really great match. I give it to both women. They killed it. They killed it in this match tonight. And we got Sasha Banks as the new SmackDown Women's Champion. You got to give it to both of them, man. It might not have been the proper conclusion to this match, or to this feud, rather, but it was a damn good effort by both women. And now, I don't know what Bayley does. I doubt this is over. Knowing WWE, I doubt this is over. It should be, but I doubt it's over. Now we got Sasha as the champion, and we have Sasha and Bianca to look forward to. That's the type of match that's going to make Bianca Belair into the face of the women's division. And it's going to be great. You're going to get Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair going back and forth promo-wise. It's going to be great. Very interested to see where they go with this. I would have done it differently, but you got to give it to both women. They absolutely killed themselves out there for us, and it was hopefully a great conclusion to what I thought was a fantastic feud by both Sasha Banks and Bayley. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, man. We are over 1,000. Thank you guys so very much. We are over 1,000. Let's try for 1,500 now. Just a reminder, Super Chats are open as well. Super Chats are open. Get those Super Chats on in here. We are going to be taking them at the end of the show, and we're going to be hanging out. Bobby Lashley versus Slapjack. Yes, this was on the show. Bobby Lashley versus Slapjack for the United States Championship. This was a match made because Mustafa Ali challenged any member of the Hurt Business on the show This was a complete waste of everybody's time. And how do you spell loser? How do you spell loser, folks? Simple. Retribution. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Retribution! I anoint them in Humberto's spot in the alphabet for the real estate of letter L. Take that one, Teabag. You're a bunch of fucking losers. A bunch of losers. I don't understand why this match needed to happen. You would think WWE would be in a situation where they're thinking, well, we got to get these Retribution guys over. We got to get these guys in Retribution over. Ali is the new leader. Right, we got all this young, vibrant, and new NXT talent on Monday Night Raw. And WWE has done nothing but bury them. You would think Bruce would be writing these guys into a situation where they could be taken as a serious threat. Now, but what do? They feed them to the Hurt Business. They lose an 8-man tag on Monday Night Raw. Dominik Dijakovic, of all fucking people, tapped out on Monday Night Raw. Teabag tapped out. Then The Fiend destroyed every single one of them, minus Mia Yim. WWE gave a Survivor Series match away, now twice, with Retribution in the Hurt Business. And now we come to Hell in a Cell. And what do you think WWE does? They triple down on Retribution being losers. They give Slapjack, of all people, a United States title match. And he loses in 4 minutes. T-Bar and Macy meet. I don't know. I didn't even take any notes for this shit. Slapjack got some offense on Lashley because Shane Thorne is actually a great professional wrestler. Lashley retains with the Hurt Lock. So Slapjack tapped out. Bunch of losers. T-Bar and Mace immediately attack Lashley after the match. Ali directed the attack from the apron. Lashley fought back. He fought off all of Retribution, which left Ali alone in the middle of the ring. Ali then bailed when the rest of the Hurt Business came down to back up Bobby Lashley. Retribution, including Mia Yim, who was at ringside, left ringside as Ali stared down the Hurt Business. That was it. So I'm going to say this to every member. I love Ali. I love Ali, man. I think Ali is fucking great. I think Ali is getting fucking shafted here. Dominik Dijakovic is getting shafted. Dio Madden's getting shafted. Mercedes Martinez looks like the biggest winner in all this, man. She is out. And she's back in NXT. I don't know what she did or what she said or who came to her defense, man. But my God, they are leaving the rest of them to die a miserable death. If this is where we are with Retribution, you might as well just cut your losses and just end it. It failed. WWE put this thing together because they tried to drum up interest in a dying product. Nobody gave a shit. You had no plans for anything here. You had no plans for Ali up until 3 weeks ago to be the leader of this fucking group. You buried them on Monday Night Raw worse than you could possibly ever bury anybody. You might as well just end it. It's over. They're dead. And here I was talking about them having a Survivor Series match in which they should win. They haven't won a match yet. Dead. Dead. WWE, more like Retribution against NXT. More like Retribution against Triple H. Dead. They killed Dominik Dijakovic, Shane Thorne, Ali again, Dio Madden, and Mia Yim. You killed 5 talents. Could have been 6, but Mercedes Martinez bailed and got out of there. Probably begged for her fucking spot back on NXT. How do you feel killing 5 legit talents? They probably go home at the end of the night and think to themselves, why am I even in this business if this is what's going to happen? Now you're going to book them at Survivor Series to do what? A, we've seen the match. B, they lost. So no matter if they win a Survivor Series, it doesn't matter. Dead. Dead. Every single one of them. Moving on. Main event. Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Yes, Prime Killer in the chat. Worst faction ever. I agree. Fucking terrible. Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. We're nearing the end of this show. Drew McIntyre made his entrance and Randy Orton showed up from behind him in a black jumpsuit, a black sweatsuit. So they brawled around ringside for over the course of the next couple of minutes to start the match. They brawled over to the announce table. The bell had not rung yet. They cleared the announce table off, but they didn't break the announce table at the start of this match. I figured they were saving it for Lana tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw, because you know WWE's table budget has exceeded their monthly limit. Their table costs are astronomical for the month of October. They brawled some more around ringside, and they brawled more in the ring. Finally, the bell rang. Orton went for a quick RKO early, but Drew McIntyre clotheslined him back out of the ring to the outside. Outside, McIntyre drives Orton into the side of the steel cage twice. They brawled around ringside. And more of the same from McIntyre. Really slow, really just methodical, a slow pace for this match. They brawled around ringside some more. Nothing overly exciting. Drew goes underneath the ring and grabs a steel chair. Ace Hardware had a field day with WWE with the amount of weapons and items underneath this ring tonight. Used the steel chair on Orton. Drew picked up the steel steps and tried to throw it at Randy Orton, but he moved. So he hit the ring cage with the steel steps. Drew set up for a Claymore kick in the ring, which looked really weird. He almost delivered like a half a Claymore kick, but when he came down with the kick, he stopped short. Orton nailed Drew's leg with the steel chair. He then took the chair and jammed it into Drew's jaw. So the leg and the jaw are now the story of the match for Orton, because that's exactly what he had targeted before the match tonight. That was the story of the entire feud. The jaw and the leg. Outside again now, Orton places Drew on the steel steps and stomps on his head. Orton torturing McIntyre now against the steel cage, choking him out with the pants of his tracksuit. Drew tried a small comeback, but Orton with a thumb to the eye. The greatest move in all pro wrestling, man. How to stop anything, thumb to the eye. That's how you do it. Drew gets Irish whipped into the steel steps. It's pretty boring up until this point. I texted Jesse, am I the only one having a difficult time staying awake during this match? And he texted me back, I legit dozed off for 30 seconds during this match at how boring it is. I'm like, I am glad I'm not the only one. This was not good up until this point. Orton pulls out a table from underneath the ring. He sets it up against the cage in a vertical position. Back in the ring, Drew fighting back. Orton stops the Drew McIntyre offense with a backbreaker. And Drew kicked out at a 1 count. Now, Drew's been kicking out at a 1 count in every world title match he's had. He's been doing this since he's won the title at WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar. This is him hulking up and making a comeback. He did have a comeback here. Overhead belly to belly, big neck breaker. McIntyre is looking for a big move. Orton slithers out of the ring and escapes. Back outside, and if you guys remember that table, McIntyre hit another belly-to-belly suplex through that table that was set up vertically in the corner. Chants of "This is awesome" from the non-existent virtual crowd inside the WWE Thunderdome ring out. As soon as McIntyre got Orton in the ring, Orton with a low blow, draping DDT, and McIntyre kicks out at 1 again. Orton goes underneath the ring, grabs bolt cutters, because Ace Hardware had a sale on bolt cutters. The fuck are bolt cutters doing underneath the ring? Why are they underneath the ring inside Hell in a Cell? You would figure the referee outside or somebody outside has the bolt cutters. No, but no, they're in the cage underneath the ring. The guys on the outside need the bolt cutters in case anything happens to get in. Not for them to be inside the ring for people to get out. Defying logic inside Hell in a Cell. As always, WWE, I admire your efforts. So he's got bolt cutters now. And he cuts the lock. He starts walking away from the cage. Drew McIntyre chases him up the ramp. He throws him into the barricade a couple of times, does Drew McIntyre. Orton throws Drew into the steel steps outside the cage, or into the steel, rather, outside the cage, throws him into the side of the cage. Samoa Joe mentions that Randy Orton had no luck inside the ring against Drew McIntyre, so why not take the fight up to the top of the cage? So that's exactly where they go. Orton climbs up to the top. He looks down at Drew McIntyre. Drew looks up, and Drew McIntyre begins to climb up. So now both guys are up top, on top of the cell. Great visuals. Really great visuals here. I'll give Kevin Dunn, I'll give him some credit. Orton had a steel baseball bat or a steel pipe. I legit thought it looked like a fucking lightsaber. I was waiting for Drew McIntyre to pull out his fucking lightsaber and them going to duel over Star Wars and the Dark Empire on top of the structure. So he's got this steel pipe, and Orton takes out Drew with it as he hits him in the leg. All of a sudden, Randy Orton starts climbing down the cell. So he goes up there, and all he does is hit Drew McIntyre in the leg. Then he starts climbing down. McIntyre is following. Both guys get some shots in on the other as they hang off the side. Orton eventually knocks McIntyre off the side of the cage as he goes through the announce table down below. And Lana somewhere in the back was jealous. Lana was jealous, man. She's like, that could have been me! Doing the good old Dolph Ziggler impersonation. Could have been me. Could have been me. So, after what seemed like a fucking eternity, after the table spot, Randy Orton watched Drew McIntyre crawl around ringside and into the structure again. So, they're back in the ring, and he went for the RKO, and Drew McIntyre countered with a backslide. So he gets a 2 count. He gets a Claymore kick out of nowhere, and Orton rolls to the outside again. McIntyre went for one more Claymore in the ring, which took forever setting it up because he was waiting for Randy Orton to get up. You figure Drew McIntyre is a veteran, right? Why are you giving Randy Orton all this time to get up? Pick him the fuck up and end the motherfucker. He's just standing there, and he's waiting there, and he's waiting, and he's waiting. Seemed like fucking 3 minutes went by. Randy Orton's fucking dazed, and he's getting up. He finally gets to his feet. Drew McIntyre delivers a Claymore kick. Randy Orton ducks. McIntyre misses. They both get up. Randy Orton hits an RKO. 1, 2, 3. And Randy Orton is the new WWE champion. And that was it. The show goes off the air with Randy Orton as the WWE champion in 2020, folks. Now, we're getting Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns at the Survivor Series if WWE upholds their end of the deal with the Raw versus SmackDown gimmick for the Survivor Series. Randy Orton is the WWE champion because I feel like Drew has run its course, or Drew as champion has run its course. I don't know where he goes from here. God forbid we get another fucking match between these two. It's over. It is absolutely over. Now, I see a lot of people saying, oh, I don't want Edge versus Randy Orton for the WWE title. I would like to see The Fiend and Randy Orton based on their history. No. No. You do realize that Bray Wyatt sucks. And Bray Wyatt has had terrible matches. Randy Orton is one of the most boring wrestlers in the entire company. You mean to tell me you want to see that match again at WrestleMania after their first fucking failure, where Randy Orton beat him for the WWE title back when? With the sperm up and down the aisleway. You want to see that match again? That match was one of the worst WWE title matches in WrestleMania history. And you want to see it again now. 5 years later. Boy, you guys really must be glutton for punishment. Really. Unbelievable. No. The Fiend should not be in a title match anymore. Randy Orton won the title because it's going to play into the storyline with him and Edge. Edge is going to win the WWE title, whether it be for a month, a day, an hour. I don't give a shit. He's going to win the WWE title. That is your WrestleMania match. It'll probably be some stipulation match at WrestleMania. Randy Orton will drop the title to Edge, and that's it. And eventually, hopefully, we move on from there as well. That's it. Randy Orton versus Edge. I don't know what else happens with Randy Orton. I don't know who he defends the title against. I really don't care. Maybe we see Orton versus Styles, Orton versus Riddle. Right? Who else is on Monday Night Raw that's the top babyface to challenge for that title? Who? I can't think of anybody. WWE is setting up plans for WrestleMania right now. Coming out of this show, we got Sasha versus Bianca, and we got Randy Orton versus Edge for the WWE title and SmackDown titles individually. That's it. Nobody should be surprised by this ending. Randy Orton lost at SummerSlam. Randy Orton lost at Clash of Champions. Randy Orton lost at Payback. Did you expect him to lose 4 pay-per-views in a row, damaging his entity on Raw? Damaging his image? No. Another loss would have rendered the Edge feud worthless. I don't think he should have lost, period. But here we are. WWE takes the title off Drew. He did an admirable job with the title. I'm pretty sure he'll get it back at some point in his career, but not right now. Not right now. Randy Orton is the guy. Randy Orton is leading Monday Night Raw. The ratings will not reflect Randy Orton being champion. They'll be exactly where they are now, 1.6, 1.7 on Monday night. Only to go up during WrestleMania season because that's when all the fucking casuals come back and watch. Right? And Randy Orton is going to go on to WrestleMania and challenge Edge. And that match will be your WWE title match at WrestleMania in Tampa. JD is right on most things, but his opinion on Orton makes him seem like he knows nothing about pro wrestling. Get unrated out of the chat. Get unrated out of the chat. Blow me. What don't I know? What did I say that isn't correct in the chat? Huh? What did I say? You're here watching me, bitch. Don't misconstrue things. You want to go fucking talk about right or what's right? Go start your own fucking show. Randy Orton is boring. Randy Orton is boring, okay? What more do you want? The time of Randy Orton to be Randy Orton has come and go. It's come and gone. Edge versus Orton is the match. That's what WWE's hanging their hat on. Would I have done it? No. No. But that's what they want. It is what it is. That's the end of your review. Hell in a Cell was a thumbs-up show just based off the Hell in a Cell matches that we got. Orton versus McIntyre was the worst of them all. Very boring. Nothing really signifying excitement. We got a Hell in a Cell bump. Ooh. We got somebody flying off the cage. The more you do. How many times have we seen that spot? There's no wow factor anymore. Listen, Orton is great. Orton is great. But Orton is boring. How many times have you guys fallen asleep during a Randy Orton match? I know I have. I've fallen asleep. His match with Edge was great. The greatest wrestling match that really never was, or had any reason to be, was a great match. But this match tonight was boring. Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre's feud was boring. Even the match at SummerSlam was boring to an extent. Just boring. Anyway, guys, that is the review here on the podcast. I appreciate you guys showing up. Hopefully we remain number one all night. Hoop Media, were we number one all night? Is what I want to know. We were number one all night. Thank you guys so very much for everything. We're going to go over these super chats in just a little bit. Make sure you guys get your super chats in. Number one all night, man. Says Hoot Media. Appreciate you. We are going to go through these super chats, guys. If you enjoyed the review and you stayed for the review, thank you. Hit that thumbs up if you have not done so. And if you're on your way out, I'll see you live back here on Monday Night Raw. I will be live tomorrow night after Monday Night Raw, the Fallout show for tonight's Hell in a Cell. But if you guys want to hang out, you are more than welcome to. We are going to go through these super chats, bro. Thank you guys for super chatting with me. And everybody that's hanging out here, thank you. If you're leaving, I'll see you guys tomorrow for Monday Night Raw. Where's my cold beverage, man? Let me take a sip of my cold beverage. Delish. Thank you for Tavor, or thank you to Tavor for sponsoring the show, man. Love Tavor. The amount of boxes and the great stuff that they sent me, man. Awesome stuff. Tavor.com. You guys go to Tavor, man. Go and get your orders in. Over $25, you're going to save $10. $25. You save $10 using code SCRIFT, man. Get yourself some great pumpkin ale. Great stuff over there for the season, man. If you guys are into the craft beer thing like I am. Let's see who we got here, man. We got Prince with a $4.99 super chat. What's up, JD? Big fan of the channel. Match of the night, Sasha versus Bayley. Also, would be interesting if Naomi joined the Hurt Business. I could see that. I could see Naomi in the Hurt Business. I know she's on Raw, but I could also see her fit into the Samoan Dynasty, even though she's not Samoan. I could see her standing by her husband's side. To be quite honest with you, I could see her standing by Jimmy's side, man. Playboy Cardi in the chat, benched. I turn my eyes to the chat to see someone tell me I suck. Go fuck yourself, bro. You're here watching me. It's not the other way around. Okay? I had 2,300 people watching me tonight. How many people were watching you and give a shit about your opinion? Zero. When you admit I'm the IWC Messiah, your life will be better off for it. Thank you, Prince. Appreciate you. Jacob Donnelly with a $5 super chat. What is up, man? With Roman Reigns on fire and the return of the Cleaner and Kenny Omega, it's good to see two badass heels on the rise to enjoy pro wrestling. I appreciate that, man. I love it. I listen. Kenny Omega's gonna do his thing, and Roman is fucking on fire. Now, if Roman would unblock me on Twitter, bro, seriously. Someone get Roman to unblock me on Twitter, bro. It wasn't about Joe Anoa'i. It was about WWE's relentless bullshit to get Roman over as a face. This is what I wanted. This is what we needed. Thank you, Jacob, for the super chat. Appreciate you. World of Wrestling, $5 super chat. Do you think Bayley and Banks should be the main event at Survivor Series in a 60-minute Iron Man match where Banks retains? No. It's over. It's over. We move on. I don't know. I don't know what Bayley... Ticket Drew text me. What's up, bro? He's like, Roman's never gonna unblock you. Bro, listen. He's got to, man. I don't understand. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? I didn't do anything wrong. No Survivor Series, no 60 minutes. I'm worried about what Bayley does after this, to be quite honest with you. She doesn't really fit into any plans, but knowing WWE will probably get this match to happen again 3 more fucking times before we get to Sasha and Bianca, which is not what we need. Hell in a Cell should be blown off with the feud. That is it. Cool Jags, $4.99. I thought this pay-per-view was pretty good for the most part. All the Hell in a Cell matches told a great story. Sasha vs. Bayley should have been the main event. Listen. At the end of the night, looking back at it, I think Roman Reigns and Jey Uso should have been the main event. That was my favorite match of the night, and I think they should have main evented the show. He also says Roman Reigns is now officially the best heel in wrestling after that incredible performance he pulled off. Absolute brilliant storytelling. I love it. Love it. Lakefront Studios, $19.99. Sasha versus Bayley inside Hell in a Cell was the one match I wanted, or the one match I watched the pay-per-view for, and it delivered. 4 stars. Both ladies killed it. Gotta give them credit. Was it better than their Brooklyn match? No. Was it better than Sasha versus Becky last year? No, but they killed it. That's just my honest opinion. Vince Tarantini with a $5 super chat. Welcome to Law at OTS. Damn right, man. Bradley Robinette, $2 super chat. This pay-per-view was okay, but the cell matches were good. Pretty much how I felt, man. Was it a thumbs-up show? Yes. Just based off of the cell matches that we got with Roman, Uso, Sasha, Bayley? Yes. Dan Trower, 2507. $5 UK. JD, my top 3 matches are Banks, then Uso, then Orton. I would love to do a review with you, man. Thank you for the only opinion that matters. Appreciate you, brother. I work alone, though. I work alone, except for Wednesday night when Jesse's with me doing AEW. Indigo, $2 super chat. Hey, JD, much respect. Congrats on the Grand Slam Banks. She's a Grand Slam winner now, man. Look at that. She joins Bayley as the only woman to do that. Tag team, Raw, NXT, and now SmackDown. We got Hoyt with a $4.99 super chat. Hey, man, I want to know what you think of AEW and WWE. Save Survivor Series by doing it together. Bro, this is not WWE 2K. Get with the fucking program. Thank you for the super chat. Kenley Pierre, $5 super chat. Who does Randy Orton feud with right after McIntyre? And when would you have Daniel Bryan win the Universal title against Roman? How would you book it? Kenley, go and watch the podcast from Saturday afternoon. I would not book Daniel Bryan to win the Universal title. Daniel Bryan was on Talking Smack saying that this is his final run in the WWE as a full-time performer. We're elevating Roman Reigns now. Bryan has had his shot. Bryan versus Reigns is a quintessential main event WrestleMania match. Have Bryan put over Roman, have Big E become the #1 contender leading into SummerSlam, and have Big E take the title from Roman. What do I do with Big E at WrestleMania? Because a lot of you guys would book Big E versus Roman. I would not do that. Big E winning the Royal Rumble sounds fucking terrible, in my honest opinion. I think Big E versus Seth Rollins is the way to go at WrestleMania. Have him beat one Shield guy to go to the next. That's the way I would do it. Mr. Cake with a $2 super chat. The Hell in a Cell main event curse is finally broken. Yeah, they didn't give us any fuck finishes tonight, which is great. I still don't think Uso versus Reigns needed to be in Hell in a Cell, but it is what it is. It could have just been a regular I Quit match. Mods, get Tony Khan is the G word, Vince is the GOAT out of the chat. Get him out of here. Get him out of the fucking chat! Fucking bullshit, man. Your boy Chris, $2.99. What's up, JD? What does Taker do at Survivor Series? Nothing. That's what he does at Survivor Series. From 1 to 10, what's your rating on the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view? 4. Willem Hendrick became a new member. Thank you, brother. Mr. Cake, $5 Super Chat. The Women's Grand Slam champion list is now Bayley, Asuka, Sasha Banks. Oh, yeah? Really now, yeah. How long before WWE adds Charlotte to that list because they can't stand Charlotte not having another accolade on her resume? Now we wait for the stars to align at Survivor Series with Asuka, Sasha, and Io. I don't want Io on the main roster ever. WWE's not going to do anything with Io on the main roster, man. Israel, $5 Super Chat. Hey, JD, here to show up. It was all right show, but what else is new? Nothing's new. It's WWE. New? Thank you for the Super Chat, brother. Get Brody Reeves out of the chat. There you go. Food Media doing a fabulous job. Pedro W. with a Canadian $10. As a kid, I always thought gimmick pay-per-views would be awesome, but as I got older and started to realize the significance of them, seeing them do it now makes me regret ever saying that as a kid. Bro, there's a ton of shit we didn't think about when we were children. That's why I'm here. You're not going to get it from these other geeks in the fucking community, right? Who's going to tell it to you like you need? Nobody. Everybody likes to pussyfoot around the fucking ideas. Montreal, $2 Super Chat. Thanks for the review. You're the best, bro. Thank you, brother. Pedro with another $10 Canadian. These days, WWE is so creatively bankrupt, they book matches to build the feud instead of the feud progressing the matches through an overarching story and making it more significant along the way. Bro, you said it, I did. This is WWE we're talking about, bro. I don't know. Yeah, that's right, man. The bench business is doing work. Montreal with a $5 Super Chat. He says, Money in the Bank briefcase funny because I called it the other day regarding it being defended. It got defended, but what is it going to do for The Miz? The same thing it did for Otis. Nothing. Mr. Cake, $2 Super Chat. Apparently, Miz cashed in on Orton on 11/22/2010. If you think The Miz is going to be WWE Champion going into WrestleMania, you guys must be fucking out of your mind. That would be absolutely terrible. Fucking terrible, man. We got Larry Lockett with a $10 Super Chat. The one and only JD straight from the Big Apple. Happy to see you thriving. Live life off the script. Thank you, Larry. I appreciate you, brother. My next cold beverage or two will be on you, man. Thank you. Montreal with another $2 Super Chat. They're really wearing out the one-count gimmick. It is what it is. That's his thing. That's his thing, man. We got Rashad Clark with a $1.99 Super Chat. I hope Sasha doesn't lose the title right away, man. I hope to God she holds it for 30 days plus. Seriously. Jericho, 8131, $5 Super Chat. Undoubtedly, Reigns Jey was the best I Quit match in pro wrestling since Rock Mankind. The emotional storytelling was off the charts. I absolutely agree, brother. I absolutely agree. Stinky Toffee 12 with a UK 199. Get Randy away from Jinder with that title. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine? Bro, did you have to fucking put that out there in the universe, man? Jesus Christ. Ricardo Linnell with a $20 Super Chat. Whoa, brother. Thank you so much, man. The best parts about Hell in a Cell were the two storylines that Vince didn't completely get control of. Go figure. Thank you, JD, for the podcast gold and for bringing back Tavor as a sponsor, man. Use that code SCRIPT. Love Tavor, man. Go get yourself some cold beverages on me. And it's amazing, man. Look at the two storylines that Vince didn't really control. Sasha and Bayley, I know. Mercedes and Pamela had a lot to do with that storyline. Probably less towards the end of it, more so in the beginning of it. And then, obviously, Reigns and Uso, man. Awesome stuff. Sick Boy with a $5 pen super chat. I don't know what that means. Pen. I don't know, man. I think the best plan for Roman is face The Rock at Royal Rumble, win with the help of the Usos, form the Samoan Dynasty, then face Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. I don't think listen, man, maybe. Who knows? I wouldn't mind that at all. Victoria Floyd with a $2 super chat. Revive Matt Riddle, give him wins and face Randy. Matt Riddle ain't going nowhere on Raw, dude. They're too busy fucking pointing out the fact that he doesn't wear wrestling boots and he wears sandals. And they're too busy scripting his promos around how many different ways he could say fucking bro. Quintendo, $2 super chat. What's up, brother? Fantastic review, man. Can't wait to see the Raw review. I'll be here live tomorrow night, man. Mr. Dark Ace, $10 super chat. Anybody have any good recommendations for German beers? I'm trying to stock up for the fall. Also, let's savor the great story arc of Roman vs. Jey Uso. Best thing to come out of WWE by far, man. I think so, man. Storyline's great. Paul Heyman's doing a fabulous job. Bud Artist with a $30 bomb. Thank you so much, brother. Great review, JD. Glad I was able to watch live, man. Happy to have you here, brother. Montrell with another $5 super chat. Damn, first Nia, now Roman blocked you. They gotta unblock you, bro. What? Actually, you know what? Nia doesn't have me blocked. Tamina has me blocked. Nia Jax does not have me blocked. Zelina has me blocked. You name it, man. I'm public enemy number one over there. I don't know why. Phil with a $4.99 super chat. Incredible storytelling inside Hell in a Cell with Roman and Jey. Like you, I wasn't into Jey getting a shot, but my stance changed just by the storytelling alone. It's the way it happens, man. I guess we got to be a little bit more open to giving things a shot. JD23 with a $5 super chat. I agree, Jay. The Orton's character is great, but in the ring, he's boring. Listen, Orton needs the right opponent. I don't think Orton and Drew... The fact of the matter is, Orton is boring when he works with somebody who is equally as boring as him. Orton is boring when he's in the ring with somebody like Drew that he's been in the ring with 4 months in a row now. When Orton is in the ring with somebody a little bit more youthful, a little bit more expanded as far as work rate goes, he can be great. The fact that this match has been something that we've seen over and over and over again, it got boring. It did not need to be something that they dragged out this long. Also, do you think Miz will successfully cash in the briefcase at some point? No. I do not. I do not. Logan in the chat got benched for being a fucking asshole, man. What a shit opinion. His opinion is just like the rest of the community, man. Garbage. What a fucking loser. Benched for being a fucking dummy. Vince Math with a $9.99 super chat. I know you predict it will be Edge vs. Orton Mania. You're probably right. But what about Cena surprise winning the Rumble for that match? Another time, wouldn't surprise me. They keep reminding us they never went one-on-one at Mania. Vince, I don't know why the fuck you didn't space out your words and why everything was just one big run-on sentence, but Jesus Christ, man. You want John Cena to win the Royal Rumble to get another shot at Randy Orton? You're just as bad as Logan, thinking that Jinder is a better wrestler than everybody in NXT. One L, $2 super chat. Would love live crowds. Would live crowds still boo the tribal chief? I don't know. I think so. I really do. I think it would be mixed, really. I think people would be cheering Roman because of how cool he looks. And I think the others would be booing him because they love the Usos. Larry Lockett with another $10 super chat, man. Honestly, would have rather seen Morrison with the Money in the Bank in my eyes. He's built up his name so much over the years. It would be great to see, plus the Starship Pain into an RKO. What do you think? Man, they would really have to practice that to pull that one off, man. I don't think so. It could probably work, to be honest with you. And Montreal with a $5 super chat. Let me guess, Keith Lee is next for Drew if he doesn't get a rematch. More than likely. More than likely. I could see Keith Lee versus Drew, Keith Lee versus Randy Orton. Whatever. I don't know who Randy goes up against next. I really don't. We got Keith Lee battling Braun Strowman as of late, so I doubt he's in the mix right now. WWE really has dropped the ball on his booking, man. It's just awful. It really, really is. Now they're calling him the Dragon. The Dragon Keith Lee. What the fuck does he have to do with dragons, bro? I don't know. I don't know, man. Guys, I'm about to get out of here. I've been here for 2 hours. Hell in a Cell post-show is about to come to a close. We're going to wrap things up here. I thank every single one of you for making me the #1 show in the IWC. As always, it's you guys who make it, and I deliver it better than anybody else in the entire community. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise, man. Rob with a $4.99. Great review as always, JD. Do you think WWE can ever get back to a place where we have a baby face we fight for as hard as we did with Daniel Bryan? No. No, they were forced to push Daniel Bryan the way that they did, man. Otherwise, they weren't going to do it. You guys know that it was supposed to be Randy Orton versus Batista at WrestleMania 30. They were not going to do anything with Daniel Bryan. You guys know how that should have been Punk versus Bryan at WrestleMania. But they gave us one of the best WrestleMania moments ever. Beating Triple H, beating Orton, and beating Batista in the same night. Guys, I'm getting out of here, man. Follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206. Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below if you have not. Definitely hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 1,500 likes. I know it'll be over 2. Let's try for 2,000 thumbs up, man. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Mouthmasker.com/OTS. Bonfire.com. Get your t-shirts, links down below. Go check out OTS. Episode 348. We got Edgar with a $50 bomb. JD, bro, you've been killing it all week. Love the Sasha versus Bayley match. They worked hard. It paid off in the end. Much respect to both you and Jesse and Hoot. Love those two. Just want to say thank you. OTS for life, man. Edgar, you fucking beast. And Larry Locke. And also keep tabs on me, JD. I start training in CCW soon. In-ring name, Lars Balmer. I'll definitely keep an eye on that, man. Listen, turn that volume up, man. I'm getting the Mustang. I'm driving away. I'll see you guys right back here on Monday night for Monday Night Raw. Thank you guys so very much for everything, man. I'll see you guys later. Seriously, guys, thank you to Edgar and to Larry for the last-minute super chats, man. Love you guys. I'll be back live on Monday Night Raw's post-show right here on OTS. I'll see you guys later, man. Appreciate the love. Thank you for making this #1 all night. See you guys for Raw.